I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
You wanna play rough? Okay! You will play rough! Say hello to my little friend!
Go home and get your fucking shine box.
Motherfucker, you motherfucker! All I have in this world is my balls and my word. And I don't break them for no one.
You know, you're a real fucking jerk. You wasted 8 fucking aprons on this guy. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. I gotta toughen this kid up.
Well, make more fucking money! This is America! If you don't make money, you're a fucking douchebag! Benny on the outside.
You think you're big time? You gonna fucking die big time.
Charlie M! You're gonna make me pop your fucking eye out for Charlie M? Come on, you know what? Do that guy a fucking favor. Hey, gangster douchebag! Hey, why don't you take that fucking cannoli and shove it up your fucking ass, eh? Yeah. Charlie M.
Our entire aim is for the development of our planet.
Same podcast, same guys, new look. Thanks for listening to Tales from the Video Store podcast. Sponsored by Golden Ticket Cinemas, The Spot Toys in Newton, Table Rock Creative Group, the pinnacle of video marketing, and Ink Brush Swag, just a cool t-shirt company. Tales from the Video Store, the podcast about the movies you've never heard of, but must see. Now, it's Lee Bridges, Doug Wall, and Garrick Lane. On with the show!
Alright?
Why is this not... Okay, there it is. Alright, Lee, talk for me.
Hello! Hello for the third time. Hello!
Alright, Doug.
Hello.
That sounds good. And I'm always really loud, so I'll bring me down. Sorry, guys, I had to actually use the soundboard for another podcast this week, so I had to adjust the levels.
Is that for your Dungeons and Dragons podcast?
No, actually, it's I was auditioning people to replace you guys.
Okay.
Oh, great.
I'm just kidding.
That's
What number are we on?
114?
114! Welcome to the video store, number 114.
It should be like 140. We have really been dragging our
We
asses.
really have been dragging. You know what, though? We've been...
Doug, those leaves aren't going to blow themselves.
That's true. That's true.
Listen, my father is the most self-sufficient man on the face of the planet. He got neck surgery, and he's never asked me for anything. So when he's calling me and going, I need you to come down here and do these leaves, everything stops.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I mean, Lee, you may not know my dad, Doug does, but like he is the most self-sufficient man. He's never asked me for anything ever. So when he's calling me and asking me for the little things like, I can't lift the cat litter, can you just come get it out of my car so I don't screw my neck up more and go back to the hospital? I'm like, yes, I can. So, yes, you're right. And, well, I was telling Doug, I got the problems with Tuesdays and Thursdays are, well, Thursdays now that I've been laid off from my TV job, that's usually ACC game kind of thing. And Tuesday night would be the night, Tuesday. Like right now, I'm missing my daughter's basketball game. So Tuesdays and Thursdays they're kind of chunky. But then apparently, like Mondays are never any good, and Wednesdays are never any good. And I know, Doug, you get your son on Thursday, so it's like there's some weeks that it just doesn't mesh.
I mean, we're doing. The main reason we're doing this is because we enjoy doing it. I mean, we can't. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We'll do it later.
Right. So, alright, so anyway, I said something right before we started. This Studio 66, or 666, Looks like it may be the next Jerky Boys. However, I will be the first one in line to watch this movie.
Right. But I mean, like the Jerky Boys, it looks like it's going to deliver exactly what it's promised.
That's true.
I mean, the Jerky Boys was a movie about two guys who did prank phone calls. And I'm pretty sure, although I only saw the movie once, I'm pretty sure it was two assholes from New York doing prank phone calls.
Yeah.
So,
That's true. And you know what? The Foo Fighters...
sometimes it's about you. Yeah.
The Foo Fighters could never do any wrong with me. So even if it's as bad as the Jerky Boys, I will stay till the end. Out of respect for Dave Grohl.
I mean, it looks like a goofy, fun movie. I mean, I'm not really expecting anything like... If it was if they made like a super serious horror movie, I would actually be disappointed.
Right.
Agreed.
Did I ever tell you guys, I'm sure Doug's probably heard it, but we're kind of old now, he probably forgot. Did I ever tell you about the time I met Dave Grohl?
I don't believe so.
It was outside. He was having drinks. This was probably the All My Life. This was years ago when I lived in Los Angeles. We were at the Formosa Cafe, and I was drinking with my friends Ryan, Mike Ward, Mike D. All these guys can back me up. And we were, of course, I was freaking hammered, right? And he had been sitting there with the dude, the Counting Crows dude, Adam.
Yeah, I know you.
Whatever. They were having drinks at a booth like back in the back. And I'm like, that's freaking Dave Grohl. And I'm drinking. I'm like, that's fucking Dave Grohl, man. Oh my God, I gotta. And everybody's like, don't walk up to him. Don't walk up to him. You're in Los Angeles now. You can't walk up to him. And I'm like, that's Dave Grohl. Anyway, make a long story short, we go outside. This was maybe the first year California didn't allow smoking in the bar. So everybody had to go outside to smoke. So I'm out there and I think I drank so much trying to get the courage to just go back there and be like, Dave, man, I love you, dude. You know what I mean? And so, anyway, I'm out there drinking, right? And we're all drinking out in the little smoking section outside of Formosa. And Dave Grohl comes out, he's leaving. And he walks right by us and he smiles. And he keeps going that way. And Ryan's like, now's your chance. And I just froze. And he started walking off. And the only thing that came out of my fucking mouth was, Dave Mustaine, you fucking rock, man!
Perfect.
That's no shit. That is 100% story. Dave Mustaine, you fucking rock, man. I love you. And Mike Ward's like, Dave Mustaine, Garrick, what the fuck, man? And then I'm like, and you know what's so awesome? Dave Grohl's not listening, but you know what? He turned around, smiled, and bowed. Just because I was such a fucking idiot. He was still cool.
Dude, I love this. That's actually better than had you walked up and gave some big speech to him.
Yeah, just totally spaced, totally fucked everything up and missed my chance. And then, so the last time they came, I had front row seats, literally, not front row seats, but I was on the stage, man, and they came out and I'm like, Dave Mustaine! I love you, man! I mean, not that he heard me, but I just in case he heard somebody go, Dave Mustaine, maybe put it all together? I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, there's my funny story for today.
Nice.
Well, Garrett, the only thing that would have made your story better is after he said that you punched the lead singer of Counting Crows in the windpipe. But that's just me.
He didn't come out. I think he drank the rest of his. I think him and Dr. Jones or Mr. Jones were miserable in the back fucking booth drinking liquor.
I don't fucking blame him.
Me, Master Jones and me. All right. Okay, let's get on with this. This isn't a rock and roll podcast, and this is definitely not the Garrick Lane Hour, so let's get on with it. I got some news. Nicolas Cage is going to play Dracula. Is anybody surprised?
I'm surprised it hasn't happened thus far.
Yeah, me too. What do you think? I mean, but with the string, and this is going to be great because Doug and I've got stuff to talk about with Nick Cage. After what we've talked about before we started recording, does this scare you?
No, it depends on the direction they try and take with the movie, I think.
Right.
And if you squint enough, he kind of looks a little bit like Christopher Lee, a young Christopher Lee. And if it's a traditional Dracula kind of a role, then that might be cool. But then again, it's Nick Cage, so I'm certain that's not going to be the case.
Right.
We'll just see what we get.
Yes, that may be exactly what we get.
Yeah.
So, this is local news. This is fun. This is another fun thing to start talking about getting some tickets and dealing with some quick to go seats in events around North Carolina. Well, Garrick put himself in a really bad corner a few months ago. So he had a nice job, he wasn't getting laid off. I am so hot. Sorry, I'm talking about audio levels, obviously. So months ago, we go to the Golden Ticket. Golden Ticket's our sponsor. We love the Golden Ticket. The kids, Peyton and River, of course, my children, the other kids, they like Spider-Man, they like Marvel, but my kids are like head over heels about these Marvel movies and head over heels about the Spider-Man franchise, right? So I mentioned this thing about possibly doing something different for Spider-Man No Way Home, right? And going and taking them to the IMAX, which they've never been to, instead of going to Golden Ticket for free. Going ahead and going out on a whim and going to Concord Mills and watching Spider-Man on the IMAX, right? I knew what that involved. I knew how much money that was involved. Granted, it was much greater when I had a job, but I kept my word. And the pre-sale tickets came out, I guess, last week, right? Actually, it was 2 weeks ago because we didn't do a podcast. That weekend, North Carolina, and this isn't just IMAX, North Carolina in general, sold out in 24 hours. That's no shit. Pre-sales of that movie sold out in 24 hours. And we're talking the Wednesday opening, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Gone, 24 hours. That's amazing to me that movie's got so much traction. I did manage to score tickets for 9 kids. So I really hope our numbers are up on this podcast and maybe we can get a sponsor to help pay for that.
Help you be able to get drinks and shit at this fucking thing.
Yes. Wow. I paid $220.
Oh my God.
But I've got IMAX tickets Saturday night, 10:40.
Those kids are going to be pissed when they have to share one soda.
I thought about just having like some sort of Ghostbuster contraption with CO2 on my back. When somebody's thirsty, I'm just be like, open your mouth and squeeze. Get like a weed eater. Or get like a weed killer, freaking pack and squeeze soda into their mouth. Shut up here. Have a couple of kernels of popcorn. But anyway, that's not the point. What's amazing to me is that movie has got that much traction. Everybody's thinking that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and all these, because all these villains are coming back, it's going to be this great thing. I just don't see it. You're not a big Spider-Man fan, are you, Lee?
Yeah, I mean, I like the movie. I mean, yeah, I like them. I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not paying $200 to see it at IMAX opening weekend, but I mean, I'll check it out. Okay. I really like the last one. The second one.
I think they're really great. I guess I never realized like how big these movies were when. I mean, the AMC website crashed the night like 10 minutes after the pre-sale started. It crashed. It couldn't even. Wow. It could not even handle the traffic.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. So yeah, like when I was in my 20s, I definitely would have tried to do something like that. But me now, it's just like, I'll just wait and see it.
I know. Wow.
The next week.
I'm a very, I don't know if you've known me long enough to know I'm a very impulsive dude, and
right.
I try to keep my word. So when I say hey,
awesome, man.
It's here, but this is how it works. I've got 5 kids. Only 2 of them really wanted to see this movie, but you got to include the other ones, and then the other ones have to include boyfriends and friends and all this, and then my wife could give a fuck less. Like, my wife watched The Notebook last night. I had to stay up an extra hour till she finished the fucking Notebook last night for the 37th time. She could give a fuck about No Way Home. You know what I mean? Right. She really could. But we got to take her because it's a family thing. So now I'm like knee deep in fucking 9 IMAX tickets. 9 IMAX tickets. And $16.49 a piece, and then we can save. I think AMC has a thing now where you can save 20% if you pre-buy your concessions. I'm like, 20% pre-buy on the concessions is gonna do shit for me. I'm gonna have to sell my car.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are like the boyfriends the thing? Are they like reimbursing you for tickets?
Yeah, maybe. But see, and it's funny because I had a really good argument, and this is a terrible argument. And the only reason I'm going to say this is because my wife never listens to our podcast.
Right.
So don't let Bonnie send her a link, or don't let Jody sabotage me and send me a link. But I already knew what I was going to say when my wife raised hell, and she did. She was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're really taking all these kids to IMAX when we get free movies at Golden Ticket?" And I was like, "Yes, I am. But you have to understand, we've gotten free tickets from Golden Ticket." So my simple answer was, well, we haven't paid for a movie ticket in over 4 years. What's one movie doing it differently? And I thought maybe she would look at that and go, well, that's a good point. Like, we really haven't, we haven't spent any money on these tickets, but really that's not a justification at all. It really isn't a justification at all. However, my kids have never done IMAX, and we don't have the 4D. Do you have any 4D? You don't have any 4Ds down there, do you?
No, we only ones I went to here in Charlotte.
What, you have a 4D? There's a 4D in Charlotte? I couldn't find them anywhere. You talking about the ones that spray the air and do all that stuff?
Yeah. That's why I went and saw Gremlins in Charlotte. I can't remember what theater it is, but yeah.
Fuck,
but I went and saw
really?
Gremlins a couple years ago.
I couldn't find them, so I just did IMAX.
Well, they don't do it for every movie. They do it just for. I would assume they're doing it for Spider-Man, but you never know.
Right.
Were you wanting to pay $50 per ticket, or what are you even talking about?
At this point,
if you want me to come with you guys, and I'll stand behind everybody and blow in your ear, or what the fuck ever when I
ticket. If you'll take me and Oliver for free, Oliver and I will blow my.
We'll sit back there. We'll fucking pour water on you. I'll blow in your fucking ear. God damn.
Anyway.
For Spider-Man? Jeez.
Hey, listen. So the point was, I'm sorry, we got way off track here, but the point is that it sold out. This is North Carolina. It sold out in 24 hours. It's insane. Anybody else have news? Let's get off this before I get freaking roasted at the stake.
Hey, we got some news. What about the new Tyler Sheridan show, Kansas City, which is going to star Sylvester Stallone, which I did not see that coming.
This guy, dude. Where did this guy come from? He's got Yellowstone. He's got Yellowstone out now. He's got the prequel to Yellowstone about Kevin Costner's family coming in, like the whole situation.
Right.
And then he's got Mayor of Kingstown. And now this, I'm telling you, man, he's blowing up. And his stuff is great. I love Wind River. We've said this so many times.
Oh yeah.
Taylor Sheridan is
all that stuff. Yeah.
But he must be a hot commodity at Paramount. right now.
Oh,
like
yeah.
they must just be head over heels going. He might be writing concepts on freaking newspapers and napkins and turning them in and going, hey, what about this? And they're like, yeah, sure. Here, we'll give you $70 million.
This Kansas City thing, I was like, oh, okay. Are you talking, like, is this going to take place, like, in maybe the 40s when, you know, a large portion of East Coast Mafia ended up in the Midwest? No, it's a modern day, apparently, with Stallone. That just immediately, I just don't care. It might be great, but, you know.
I'll check out the pilot. I mean, I'm not, I'll give it a day in court.
Perhaps.
So here's what I think. What I think about Taylor is, if Taylor's not writing it, how good is it?
Right.
You know what? So it's like, okay, so if Taylor's good, there's no way he has to. Now he's acting. He's got a part in Yellowstone season 4. So he's not going to have enough time to write all this stuff. So he's writing the concepts, but it was him who wrote Sicario and Wind River. Right. You know what I mean? And that's what we like. The dialogue, the edgy dialogue.
Yeah.
The way things are. I watched 2 episodes of Mayor of Kingstown, which he, I think, helped write, but there was other people, and it may not be quite as sharp.
Right.
So I don't know. So I guess it really comes down to how much. I mean, is he executive producing it, or is he actually going to sit down and pen it? I think that's the success of that show.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe.
I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't know. But eventually it could lead to kind of like that sort of mid-90s Shane Black burnout where he just kind of stopped writing altogether for a while. You know?
Right.
Where he was doing everything, and then I guess he just kind of got over it.
Well, I mean, who doesn't? I mean, he was working like, yeah. I mean, that brings us to my next news thing, and we can interject this as the same thing. But, you know, George R. Martin came out and said, you know, he begged HBO for 10 episodes of that last season, and he wanted to do 10 long episodes and maybe another season because he had the content, he had the template for how they wanted to do it, but the writers were moving on to that Star Wars thing. The showrunners were trying to move on to the Star Wars thing.
Well, everybody's trying to move on except for George fucking Martin, apparently. Has that book still not come out?
Well, no, but still.
Okay.
But
I'm just saying.
But could you have benefited? Yeah, but you're one of the guys that said the end of Game of Thrones was not good because they rushed it and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So if George Martin's out there saying, hey, I could have given you one more season and 2 more episodes of that season, you'd have watched it.
Well, I would have watched. I watched all of it. I mean,
watched all of it 3 times.
Well, that's because you're a psychopath. I mean, really, it boils down to...
Lee Bridges hasn't watched any of it.
What I liked about the show, the slow stories and how that, the very slow, builds towards these crescendos, and that's just not anything really that the last 2 seasons of that show were. It was just like, boom, 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 which is fine. But it's just different. It's hard to appreciate it in the same way, I guess, is my point.
I agree with that. Well, but... Excuse me. To have a thought and then drink water. With that said, if they would have not been in a hurry to finish as the showrunners, that may have all changed.
Yeah, but everything that happened that we saw in the last, say, 10 episodes would have taken fucking 4 seasons to finish if they had gone at the rate that they had been telling the story. So it's like, let's just get to the end.
No. Well, so anyway, going back to where we were talking about with Taylor, it's the same thing. Like, how much can he how much of his touch can he put on all these new shows? Because what he's done and his body of work is fucking amazing. Like, Yellowstone is some of the best shit, some of the best TV I've ever watched. Like, it's up there with True Detective. Now, I've taken Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones is different. That's fantasy shit, whatever. But, I mean, Yellowstone is really, like, we're in season 4 right now, and it's great. And there's a lot of people out there, I get on these forums, and they're like, oh, it's not as action-packed, you know, it's not this and this and this. That's because he's building. Like, it's just really good TV. I just wonder, I need to watch Mayor of Kingstown. I need to see how much he is putting on all this stuff. Because, you know, I mean, look how hard it is for you and I. We wrote that clown script, and I'm trying to find a convenience store, and we're going back and forth. And last time we talked about it, you're like, dude, I hate all that. I hate everything you wrote. You know, I fucking hate everything. You know, I rewrote some shit. I put some dialogue in it, and he fucking hates it.
That's not. So, I mean, you know.
No, but what I'm saying is that's how, like, it takes a lot of time, and this guy's got him.
Some guys are built for writing. Some guys are built for writing, and I mean, he's constantly, you know, working out and tweaking things in his head all day, every day. And those kind of people can put together things, multiple things. Now, will all these things that he's involved in be great? Probably not. The odds are against him. I mean, let's just be real.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Like Lee says, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt, I suppose.
150%.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have one more piece of news, and then we'll get to the Scorsese thing. So, going back to Ridley Scott, The Last Duel, his response to The Last Duel was apathetic millennials.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree with him.
Oh, no, it's 100% bullshit.
What? Really?
Because nobody wanted to see the movie. I'm 42 fucking years old and I don't want to see that movie.
Yeah. You made a piece of shit. You can blame who you want, but...
Yeah, listen, millennials are all now... Listen, he said millennials. Millennials are all now like 30 years old. You know, I mean, that's not... he's just an 85-year-old man who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He just made a movie nobody wanted to see.
Yeah, I saw the other day he was being interviewed, and a guy just made a comment that he thought that this movie, I guess, time-wise, looked more realistic than than his Robin Hood, and his response was "fuck you."
So did I not read all this? Did I miss all that?
I just saw this like yesterday or day before. So I think, like Lee said, he's just a fucking old cocksucker.
He's an old cocksucker, man.
If you don't like what he's making, then you know.
Well, his Gucci movie is getting good reviews and garnering nominations and things, right? House of Gucci. I don't know. I mean, it's too early to tell.
That looks like the most interesting thing he's made in some time. So as far as things that he's made in the last decade, I think that's probably about the only thing that I've really kind of been like, ooh, now this might be something. But we'll see.
Right.
He could easily just destroy it with his smugness. We'll just have to find out.
We could.
But, I mean, you know, sometimes it just, you know, sometimes and it doesn't necessarily mean the movie's bad. It just means it doesn't appeal to the audience at that time.
Yeah.
10 years from now, people could be saying, oh, The Last Duel's amazing. And it might be. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to pay $40 to go sit through, he just, you know, I don't know. It doesn't look like a movie I want to see at the moment, especially pay-to-see theater prices.
Right.
You know, I'm not taking 9 people to see it in IMAX, I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Well, sure, yeah.
But, I mean, if people, like, just... Listen, he's had enough wins. He should be able to take an L more gracefully than that.
Yeah, agreed.
You know? I mean,
and I'll check it out when it's streaming somewhere.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or I'll spend $1.50 on a Redbox.
Adam Driver and Ben Affleck and Matt Damon together. They've always produced good stuff.
Oh, I mean, we'll see.
I'm a big fan of Ben Affleck, so I know a lot of people aren't, but I've always been a big fan. I like all his movies.
I know you're a big Geely guy. Anyway.
Moving on. Scorsese's making the Grateful Dead biopic.
Oh yeah.
With Jonah Hill.
Oh yeah.
Everything was fine until you said with Jonah Hill, and then like something in my just I don't like that fucking guy, and you know. But here's the thing:
I got 2 movies for you.
In this particular role, he might it might work, and I trust Martin to make a good movie, and I trust that he'll get out of all these actors, whoever he puts in it, with he'll get their best. That's just what he does. So I'm not really worried about it. I mean, look, I don't like Jonah Hill, but he was amazing in the fucking Wolf of Wall Street.
I was going to say, he got 2 movies, Moneyball and Wolf of Wall Street, where that guy...
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think he can
the movie.
I think that it can work. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see.
There's nobody that would know that movie more than Scorsese, because you know he was always on the beat with.
He's a music
Rolling
guy,
Stones.
man.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
you know,
all his movies
loves
are
Dylan,
all
loves Rolling Stones. I mean, him signing on to do something like this, it's not surprising. And like I say, if this actually does happen, I expect it to be great.
Yeah, I wonder did it say who the writer was?
I'm not sure. I didn't see that part. I didn't check that out.
No, that would. Okay.
That would help.
Well, I mean, that would help figure out where the you know.
We'll just have to see.
Where we're falling at. Of course, you got to think though, if Scorsese's signing on, he's already read the script and he probably knew the writer. You know what I mean? Like all that was probably already in place. So whatever.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how it's done. In a 45-year music career, what time period is it going to be from the beginning, the middle, towards the end, or is it going to touch on all of it? I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an interesting project. I mean, but of all the things, I would not have guessed he would do this project.
Yeah, agreed.
So, but I don't. It's going to be. I don't know if it's going to end up in the Goodfellas pile or the New York pile. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean,
yeah.
Is there really a New York pile anymore then?
It has New York in it.
Well, I know, but that's the only one though. I mean, has he made a bad movie?
He hasn't made a bad movie. I'm not saying New York's a bad movie.
I'm talking about lately.
Well, it's just not a movie for me. But what was the one?
Kundun.
About the Dalai Lama, which is a very well-made movie.
I was going to say Silence was. It was
the Last Testament or the Last Testament of Christ.
Temptation.
What the fuck ever. That's how important that movie is to me.
Yeah.
But there has been.
But that was a long time ago, man.
Right.
He's come a long way since then.
It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. For the most part.
Which ones weren't?
We just talked about them. Silence.
We're talking about the last. So let's talk.
Silence was like 2017. It's pretty.
Oh, was it?
Oh, okay.
Was it? Am I crazy? Yeah. Okay, so the Aviator, masterpiece. The Departed, masterpiece. Wolf of Wall Street, masterpiece.
Those are all great.
Masterpiece. So what's next for it? And then we've got the Flower movie. The fucking
we
Flower.
do have the
we
Flower.
Got the Flower movie with DiCaprio.
And De Niro.
I'll go ahead and call you. That's a masterpiece. It's happening.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Probably.
So I don't see if he's going to pick up Garcia at 98. He's going to be on oxygen and in a wheelchair, and he's still going to make the masterpiece.
That's what I'm saying. I'm certain it'll be very well done.
He is and listen, this is going out on a limb, but he's 7 times a better filmmaker than anybody else on the planet.
I would agree with that. I think he's the greatest filmmaker on earth.
I think that Quentin Tarantino and P.T. Anderson and all those guys we like, they're down here, and he's fucking here. Like Steven Spielberg, those guys, like Scorsese has his body of work is nowhere near. I think the only person that might rival is David Lean, Dr. Zhivago, Bridge over River Kwai. Maybe Sam Peckinpah. I don't even know if that's even. I don't even know.
I love Peckinpah, but I wouldn't.
Right.
There's a finite amount of movies.
Right, but Peckinpah was not my generation. Scorsese is my generation.
Right, and also after Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, then you have cocaine, and then there's a drop off in quality.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
And I love Sam Peckinpah. I mean,
I don't know. We'll see. All right, well, let's move on. Speaking of gangster movies, Scorsese.
Yep. Oh,
got
right.
all sorts of stuff.
Gangster movies.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Gangster movies, Jerry Garcia. What's the difference? All right. You want to introduce this movie this week?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's from 1980. It's The Longest Goodnight. It's a
No,
British
it's the
film.
long. No, it's not.
Oh,
It's
no,
not the
what
long
did I
kiss
say?
goodnight.
The
Jesus.
Long Good Friday. Fuck, yeah. Damn.
That's how unimportant this movie is.
Damn it, Lee. You were supposed to come strong on that.
And it's from 1980 with Bob Hoskins and Helen Mirren.
Yep.
I saw it was on HBO Max, and I've seen parts of it, but I've never seen the whole thing. So, what did you guys think?
Garrick?
It was probably one of the most boring movies I've ever seen in my life. It may have been more boring than fucking On Golden Pond.
Yeah, I read that. I look. It's got a very early '80s, late '70s, like the film work.
Yeah.
Look to it that in some shots works and in others it doesn't. Like the scene where he gets all the gangsters of London and hangs them upside down in the meat
The best
locker.
scene in the movie. You're right. The best and only good scene in the movie.
That was interesting. The kind of the way the story is told, it's like you see fucking like homosexual Belloq like doing his shit, and I was like, man, that's weird. And then the next thing you know, he gets stabbed in a fucking bathhouse.
And you got the almost homosexual Pierce Brosnan getting ready to stab a homosexual.
Well, and you get like it's like an hour plus into this movie before you even know what the fuck's going on.
I'm completely done.
Because basically, homosexual Belloq was over there doing some shit with some IRA boys that I guess he shouldn't have been doing. Caught the ire of these old fellas.
Oh,
and because he's connected to Bob Hoskins, who was the biggest gangster in London,
I'm crying.
who's moving on to trying to bring the Olympics to London, like the '88 Olympics or something like that, and a bunch of bombs start going off and blowing up his shit as people are getting killed, and you really don't know
Nobody gives
why.
a fuck. Nobody cares.
They never.
Right? They don't.
And by the time they kind of
Who chose this movie?
they kind of explain it, it's kind of like you said. I was like, oh, all right, that's why they were showing Belloq doing that shit. Like his 3 minutes in the movie,
Right.
you know, at the beginning, but and that is odd and was very odd. Just the whole flow of the thing was very strange.
Yeah, it's very stilted. It feels like a TV show condensed into a movie.
Yes. A very bad TV show.
And Bob Hoskins, you can obviously he's acting his ass off in the movie.
He's so fucking good.
He's
dude.
having to act his ass off because there's nothing else to do.
And
He's like, I have to carry this.
Basically, he was on a business trip trying to set up a deal with these American gangsters. And while he was gone, his underlings tried to rip off these guys. So I guess they didn't realize where they ripped off this suitcase full of money, which is what the movie's about, from these guys who were in the IRA. And in the movie, I guess if you had to say what it's about gangsters versus terrorists. And, there'll be a certain point where a gangster will just go, well, fuck it. It's not worth it. But these terrorists, they're not about the money. It's about their political beliefs.
Yeah.
It's like and Pacino says that in Godfather 2 when they're in Cuba. He's like, we can't win. He said, we're fighting a belief,
Yeah.
when they talk about the communists.
Yes. And yes.
And that's essentially what the movie's about, but it's not the Godfather 2.
No, it is not.
And, but here's weird. It's kind of like we were talking about the Ridley Scott movie. Everything in the movie is well put together. Like, they cast it well. It just, when they put it all together, it just doesn't work.
It's weird while watching this movie, and once I got to the end of it, what it kind of, and I felt this while I was watching it, what it reminded me of, and you're going to be like, really? Like, I don't really understand kind of, like, how, but Bob Hoskins' character in this reminded me of Christopher Walken's character in Frank White, the
King of New York.
King of New
Did
York.
you really forget that name? What is happening here? Are we all on COVID?
I guess,
like,
I could totally see that, because he's trying to do something positive with his life.
yeah, he's a piece of shit, and you see him do bad shit, and you've heard stories about the bad shit, but overall, like, he's trying to kind of get out of that life, but he's still doing the things in that life that are keeping him from being a quote-unquote, like, straight businessman.
Right, yeah. And he thinks this deal is going to put him over the top.
Right.
And he can just,
And he looks, I just kept, I'm like, he's fucking Al Capone, dude. He's English Al Capone. He looks so much fucking like him, dude, in this, I felt like.
It's weird that you say that, because he was originally cast as Al Capone in The Untouchables.
Yeah. That would.
And they had to pay him his full salary to get De Niro, because the contracts had already been signed.
He would have been. I mean, as great as De Niro was, but just the look of Hoskins at this age, man, he just is young and like, very menacing. Like, he's fucking good, dude.
Oh yeah, like, when his dad's the guy to death, you can totally see him being like Al Capone.
Right. And I think that's the big takeaway from this is Hoskins being a fucking monster, dude.
Right.
He is an amazing, like, he's like a storm in this fucking movie. Every time he's on screen, he's fucking great.
And the end is great.
The end is the fucking best, dude.
Yes, where half homosexual Pierce Brosnan sticks his gun.
Only the good half?
Only the good half. Points the gun at Hoskins, and they have that interaction.
Well, and you see the car, and like, it pulls by, and you see Helen Mirren in the other car, and you know at that moment, and he knows. And I like that steady cam on his face, and you can see like everything going through. Like, there's a moment where he's like, I can get out of this, and then he realizes
he accepts it. Yeah.
He knows that he's been bested.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there's aspects of this movie that I really, really like. But you're definitely right on when you, like, just for whatever reason, Lee, like you said, and this happens a lot, man. You get a great performance and a story that you feel like it could kind of work, but when you put it all together, it just doesn't. And that's this. It just didn't work.
Sometimes that cake don't bake. And it's not really anybody's fault. It's just, it just happens.
Yeah.
I mean.
Just didn't work.
It just didn't work. But you're right. He is amazing in this movie.
Yeah. That's his, I mean, that might be his best performance of anything I've ever seen him in.
Yeah.
Including
Easy Hook. He was very good.
Including
Shmee and Hook.
Oh man, I thought you were gonna go with.
Although I've got others. Roger Rabbit.
I thought you were going Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
Which
he's
is
good in everything.
But this character and him in this and
yes,
it couldn't be more different.
Yes.
Like that shows his range as an actor. Really underrated. We lost him a few years ago.
I always wondered if the Roger Rabbit voice was sort of a version of the voice he prepared for Al Capone.
Maybe.
Because, I mean, I didn't know until I was like a teenager that he was British, because I just knew him as the guy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
He
was good. I mean, great in this.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'll recommend it for some things, but moving on.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, this I actually think this is something that could be remade, especially as like a TV show or like a 12 miniseries that would be better.
Cockney Vice without Michael Mann.
Right.
Yeah. Remington, fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
Remington, go fuck yourself. Great.
Hey, I got it. Magnum UK. What the fuck do I...
Magnum UK.
I don't know. I fucking hated it.
Well, you hate most things, so that's okay.
In fact, I like...
Unless Lee and I tell you not to, and then we'll come back around.
I'll tell you what, I like the conversation about this movie. The conversation about this movie was more entertaining than 6 of those movies put together. It was... Okay. So, whatever.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah, I don't recommend it. Don't watch it. There's plenty of great gangster movies out there. This is not one of them. I mean, it just is. It just isn't. All right, so what do we watch? Come on, we're running late. I got to get my daughter's in a concert tonight, ringing bells for Christmas or Jesus or somebody. Huh?
I have something. We've already talked about it. Me and Bonnie went and saw House of Gucci this past weekend.
Oh, you've already seen it? Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I mean...
I thought it was Christmas Day.
No, dude. We fucking saw it in the movie theater.
Nice.
Like 2 years ago when Garrick was talking about A Star Is Born, and I said on the podcast I would never watch that movie. Bonnie always said, I'll never make you watch that movie. But she loves Lady Gaga, so when this movie came out, she was like, we're watching this movie. So, you know. And you know what? It's got, Garrick, you were talking about it's got a lot of good reviews. I've actually read a lot of bad reviews about it. And what I don't get is the bad reviews say that they don't like it because it's a campy soap opera. But it's a campy soap opera.
Yeah, that's the story.
I don't get I understand they didn't like it, but why would you go see a movie you know you're not going to like?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
well, now...
It's like...
And I think the Gucci family, everybody's mad about this movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm sure they are, because it makes them look like a bunch of assholes. I'm sure the Gucci family is living.
Which I'm sure they probably were
They
and
probably are.
So
how is the movie, though?
Well, I'll tell you, I read Tom Ford's review, which is weird because he's in the movie. I mean, an actor plays him in the movie, and he's now a movie director, and he basically said it's like a big episode of Dynasty, and it's weird because he's in it. But I mean, it's very well made.
Good.
It's my problem with it was, and I've talked to Bonnie about this. You know the scene in like the Margot Robbie scene in The Big Short, or the scene where DiCaprio explains basically, where Matthew McConaughey explains the stock market.
Yes.
DiCaprio, Wolf of Wall Street, like. It doesn't fucking matter if they get right. We're getting commission, so that's the important thing. There's no scene like that in the movie that explains fashion. Because if you, I can love a movie about anything if you contextualize it. I don't give a shit about the stock market, but when I'm watching The Wolf of Wall Street or The Big Short or whatever, I'm glued into, or fucking Trading Places for that matter.
Yeah.
Or like you said, Garrick, baseball and Moneyball.
Yeah.
Right? If you contextualize it, I'm fucking there. But there's nothing in this movie. That's the weak point. There's nothing in the movie that explains, this is how fashion works. This is how Gucci does this. It's just a bunch of fucking Italian people yelling at each other. And like I said, if you go into it knowing it's a big campy soap opera, you're going to have a great time. That's exactly what it is. I don't get the whole, it's like, I'll give you an example. I don't like disaster movies, so I just don't watch them. I mean.
Yeah, I gotcha.
If I came in here talking about how much I dislike the movie, I don't know, insert a disaster movie here, I'd be an asshole. But it's just, I mean, it's a very well-made movie.
Bonnie like it?
She didn't like it as much as she thought she was going to.
Really?
She was kind of disappointed with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What else you got?
Let's see, what else have I watched? I'm trying to think. Shit, I can't even think now. can't think. Go on to the.
Sounds good. All right,
my mind is blank.
Lee, have you been drinking?
you sound like me
That's when I
over
want to
there.
start.
Jesus.
Wow. All right. I watched a couple of fucking things.
Okay.
I wanted to watch Gangster, so I watched Gangster. I watched Black Mass. I found it in my cabinet of Blu-rays. I had no idea I even owned it. And I remember watching it, when it came out and being like, I didn't really care for that. And I haven't revisited it. About Whitey Bulger and the Winter Hill Gang with Johnny Depp and Edgerton and Cumberbatch or Cabbage Patch and Jesse Plemons.
It's fucking good.
Dude, it's a fucking really good movie, man, and
You guys ostracized me.
I'm really glad that I went back and watched it, man, because it looks fucking great.
It's great.
The story, it's not slow or anything. It's very personal, and look, I'm glad I went back and watched it again.
You know what's amazing? If you watch that movie and then you go on Netflix and watch that documentary about Whitey Bulger's court case, and they go back and talk to 3/4 of the people in this movie,
Yeah.
and they all look like you almost feel like you're in that fucking movie again. These people look just like the people in this movie. That's how well done it was.
Fucked up thing. I mean, like, his brother's a fucking senator, and he's like the, he's not the biggest gangster in Boston, or at least he wasn't initially. He gets propped up by this FBI guy that knew him, who's trying to kind of get ahead and play gangster from the FBI office. And I just thought it was a really interesting story that I kind of knew. But I don't know. It was like new to me again for whatever. It was weird, man. I was like, damn, man, I really liked that when it ended. And then I wanted to go back and watch something that I knew I was going to love that I have not seen. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched this was 1995's Desperado.
Nice.
We mentioned Rodriguez a lot on here, and I lament about like him doing all this kid shit, and I'm like, when will he fucking go back to Desperado times? I want to see this. And it's a fucking masterpiece, dude. It is an absolute action fucking masterpiece that it's almost perfect. Like, the way that it's done, it could have been made in 1975, 1985, 1995, 2005, 2015, and it still would have the same impact. Everything about this movie hits every fucking part of it. It is absolutely special, and it will have legs. I promise you, it will have legs from now to the end of time. That's how fucking good it is.
One of the positive things about it, and this is going to sound like I'm knocking it, but it's not a knock. He was the first guy in Hollywood to rip off John Woo. Because he was a movie geek, he had all these movies ahead of time.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, in the late 90s, early 2000s, people were ripping that shit off. But he knew about it before anybody.
Yeah.
And so he was able to do it, because there's, do these sort of homages to John Woo, which there's a lot of them in the movie. Like, there's a couple, yeah, very good movie.
All the practical movie magic that he does in this fucking thing. The soundtrack is absolutely perfect. It brought me back.
Dude.
Like, dude,
I still play that soundtrack.
It's fucking, it's a great, just the Tito and the Tarantula stuff alone is just amazing.
Yeah, everything about it was so fucking good, dude. It's one that I'd forget, like, it's like, oh yeah, Desperado, man. It was great. But until you go back and watch it again when it's been, dude, it might have been 20 years since I've seen it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck, dude. It was a blast fucking watch. I loved everybody's performance. I loved every fucking thing I saw. And then I watched a big fat piece of shit.
Wait.
Which one do you want me to talk about? Because I've got a list of 6 pieces of shit.
Wait.
And you vote on what you tell me which one you want me to.
I want to talk about Desperado for 1 second.
Right. I know how much this movie means to you, Garrick.
Yes, it means a lot. But let me tell you, it came out so I had already watched his first movie, and his book was out. His book had already come out.
Had it at that point? I thought it came out after.
It might have come out after. We were getting essays. I was in film school. We were getting essays. We were getting stuff. Robert Rodriguez was coming in, he's making films on 16mm anyway. Make a long story short, I was working at Steven Spielberg's restaurant, The Dive, in Century City. And AMC...
More LA stories?
Yeah, but this one's the best.
I know.
This one's the best. Just let me tell it. This one's different than the last one.
Were you drinking tequila?
Yes!
Of course you were.
Just hold on 1 second. But this is the best ever.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to see this movie. We knew Robert Rodriguez, it's Antonio, Desperado. So the cool thing about Los Angeles was they had Twilight movies. And the Twilight movies were, you could go see it at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. Because the theaters there, you started 10 o'clock in the morning and you could watch them till 1 o'clock at night. But the Twilight movies were very cheap. They were $3.75, if I remember correctly, if you were a student, which is monstrous. So I woke up very early, opening day of Desperado, and I had to work a double at the restaurant that was right next to the theater. So, of course, I watch this movie. I was fucking blown away. Watched it at 9:45 in the morning. It got out about 11:45, walked in, did my double from 12 to 8. The whole shift, I'm like, I fucking love that movie. I had been kind of conversing with a girl, with the server there, as we were, passing, and I was like, she's like, what'd you do today? You're here all night? I'm like, yeah, but I watched Desperado. I think I'm going to go back when I get off and watch it again. It's so good. And she's like, really? You're going to go to the movie after this? And I was like, I think so. She's like, I'll go with you. Oh. So we went. So this movie I watched twice in the theater in one day. And then after that, we went and got a bottle of tequila. We were so amped about that movie. We went and got a bottle of tequila, went back to the house. I got laid. It was like the best day of my entire life. And I watched Desperado. Clarence Worley. I took her to a movie. She loved it. I'm telling you, man.
And this chick was also probably a prostitute.
No.
It would certainly make a lot more sense than your story did.
But I don't. Chase, really? Dude, that was so... I'm serious. This is 150% true.
I believe
it was very accurate. I just forget getting laid and all that stuff. I went to that movie first thing in the morning, and when I was done with my double shift, the only thing I could think about doing was going back and seeing it again because it was so good.
Yeah.
And it was so good that the girl that I took was like, that was such a sexy movie. She's like, oh my gosh, it was so sexy. Let's go drink tequila. And I'm like, let's do.
Yeah. Come on.
Anyway, all right. Yes, Desperado, masterpiece, 100%. Good.
Lee, did we talk about Old Henry?
No, you texted.
I think I mentioned that I watched it the last episode.
You
But I
did?
didn't want
Okay.
to but nobody else has seen it, and I didn't want to give
Right.
too much.
Right. I watched it. It's very good.
Yes.
I don't want to get too much into it. Go
It's one of
rent
my
it.
favorite movies of the year.
It's a very well done movie.
I thought you said it was predictable.
Well, it is, but I still enjoyed it. It's like it was weird. It's like I think somehow
It gives you what you want.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't necessarily say it's predictable. It gives me exactly what I want.
I just kind of knew when things were getting ready to happen, and then they were happening, and I was like, did I read about this or something? Like, it was really odd, but immediately after I watched, I texted Lee, and I was like, yeah, man, that shit was cool. Then I watched a movie on Prime called The Perfect Enemy. It is a 90-minute thriller. I think it's Swedish. It's not subtitled, but they do have kind of like accent, when people try and do an American accent. I enjoyed it. I can't really talk about it other than to say it's 90 minutes, it's a thriller, and I love the way it ended.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And then I watched Two Pieces of Shit.
Oh, Jesus.
Candyman, I don't even know what it was.
My son, who had not seen the first one, said that it was terrible, besides the end where the old guy shows up, we just totally spoiled that. Where the old Candyman shows up or some shit.
Well, here's the thing. There's so many Candymen in this fucking thing, you're not going to know if it's Todd or not, man. It was like, I didn't even realize it.
It's just that.
I just did not like it.
Okay.
And then the worst thing I watched was Pig.
Okay.
because it's about a pretentious twat. I'm so cool with a chef, I'll just go live out in the woods with a pig because nobody's cool as me. Oh wait, somebody took my pig. I'll do anything to get her back. Oh, really? Well, let me just cook you a meal. All right, everybody. Bye. That's Pig. Go fuck yourself. Lee, don't ever fucking watch this. You would never fucking make it through it. It's garbage,
You're
dude.
only mad because the main character is a fucking chef.
No, he's a pointless twat.
What?
His whole entire existence is pointless. His role is pointless. There was no fucking pig in the whole goddamn movie.
It got stolen and killed.
Oh, and Garrick just ruined everything.
What's it? What?
Moving on. I watched Snakes on a Plane after it because I was feeling like it was an improvement, and you know what? It was. Snakes on a Plane at least made me smile a few times. Pig was fucking atrocious.
It was not that bad. It was
garbage, dude.
Really? I thought it was great. I thought it was. Yes, I thought it was very.
It looked great. It had cool music, but there's nothing. There is no story. There's no fucking story. Hey,
sure it is.
Let's build this cool idea for this fight club down in this old hotel where like hospitality workers go and have these fights, and then not do it, not have them fight. We'll just have a guy beat the fuck out of Nick Cage for a few minutes, and then moving on. It was fucking pointless. Every scene, it was like built up like something was gonna happen, and nothing ever did. Garbage. Garbage.
Wow.
Pretentious.
You know,
garbage.
I love being...
I'm rolling R's with it. Garbage. Fucking, that's how bad it was. Moving on.
Okay. Well, all right. I enjoyed it. It was a slow burn.
So slow, there was no fucking flame, Garrick. There was no spark.
It was so slow, you never got your fire going.
Yeah, there was...
It was a no burn.
Yeah,
it was a no
fucking,
burn.
talk about a nothing burger. That was a nothing Whopper, dude. Worst.
Oh, man. Oh, gosh. I haven't laughed this much on this show. I think tonight might be the...
You know why I fired you? You overcooked the pasta. Oh, you overcooked the pasta. Go fuck yourself. Fucking God.
Poor Lee's like, I have no idea what he's even talking about.
Oh, it's the worst, dude. Lee, I would love to see you try and watch it just to watch your facial expressions, because you would fucking hate it. Oh my God.
If Doug ever flips out, he's gonna duct tape me to a chair and make me watch Pig.
That would be my choice if I wanted you to go insane. It's that fucking bad. Terrible. Terrible. Garrick, you're up.
Oh God, you know what? I can't even follow that. Does anybody even care?
Welcome back, COVID.
Does anybody even care what I watched at this point in time? Look, I don't have anything. Honestly, I have two things.
Okay.
I have been running at the gym for 2 hours a day because I have a race this weekend.
It's fine. Nobody cares.
I knew that.
Here we go. Here we go.
But no, we did. I have something. I've actually been rewatching Warrior for the third time.
Nice.
That's what I watch while I'm on the treadmill. It is so incredibly. I can't even wait for season 3. And I don't think. And listen, if there's any of our listeners out there that have not seen this, you have to watch this show. It is. I mean, I almost like it more than I like Game of Thrones.
There's no way it's not better than Game of Thrones.
Oh, whatever. You can't say that. You've never seen it, dude. You can't.
Way. There's no way. There's 17 seasons. I think there's 20,000 episodes per season. A bunch of white people walking out in the woods with swords and fucking.
Well, don't forget the titties.
But yeah, every once in a while a titty pops out.
Titties and swords. 17
people get their heads kicked in the first 3 minutes of that first episode of Warrior. There's there's no way. If you put them on a screen, two TVs next to each other, and play the pilots, no one will watch Game of Thrones.
You may be absolutely right. Like, it is so good.
Yeah.
Every bit of, even the couple of episodes that don't carry the story, they're like off out. Like, it's amazing, and I'm so happy we're getting a season 3. I
was listening to a podcast with Jonathan Trooper, the creator of that show.
Yes, Banshee.
And he
Created Banshee.
He said that Cinemax was just, they would give him all the money in the world, they just wouldn't promote anything. Like, Banshee was on for 4 years and it was never promoted. And, Warrior was on for 2 seasons on Cinemax and no one knew it existed.
Yeah.
And they would always ask him, like, can I get some money for some commercials? And they were like, no, we don't do that.
We'll give you money for the production. We're just not going to market you. That you know what? That feels exactly right. Because I've watched this series 3 times through.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I cannot wait for season 3.
He's starting to write movies now too, so I think he's got a couple movies coming out that he's written. So that'll be cool. Yeah.
Well, and the other movie I watched is a total piece of shit. Total piece of shit. You know me, I'm a vampire guy. Love it. Love vampire stories. Netflix's Night Teeth was, made for Netflix. It's about a couple of college students.
Night Teeth?
Yeah, it's called
That's
Night.
a terrible title.
Yep. College student, moonlighting as a chauffeur, picks up a couple of vampires, and they can't go into this neighborhood because vampires are battling 2 different kind of vampires. Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, you know what? Here, actually,
we need a little gong so I could just gong like the Gong Show, man. When you get on talking about Night Teeth.
So I just want to say this: if Brent Dillon, who wrote this, doesn't play the role-playing game Vampire the Masquerade that I've played, and it's a very good...
Here we fucking go, Lee.
I'm just telling you, it's a role-playing game.
RPGs for days.
It is, you're right.
I know how you do.
But listen, these guys have been around for years, and they've created this lore of vampires and vampires in the city and how nobody knows that they're there. This guy, Brent Dillon, fucking stole all that. This show, this movie.
Nobody knows about vampires in the city.
Nobody gives a fuck. No, I'm talking about this.
Kind of like Warrior on Cinemax. Nobody knows it exists, right?
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Night Teeth.
Night Teeth.
That's the worst fucking title I've ever heard.
I normally like vampire movies. I really do, and I find good reason. I mean, like True Blood may be the campiest freaking vampire show ever.
It was awesome.
It was awesome. Yes, the first 4 maybe until they start getting the fairies and all that stuff. But this is not fun from the 22nd minute when the vampire shows up and you realize what you're watching. It's not fun. So there you go. That's all I got.
Okay.
And I was going to say something else real fast. But we're running a little bit late. I have started watching for the first time Boardwalk Empire.
What do you mean for the first time?
Okay.
I have missed that one. I have missed it.
You never saw any of it?
No, I never had HBO until I got
Jesus
HBO
Christ.
Max, dude. I'm telling you, I'm behind.
He was watching fucking Night Teeth.
You were watching
I'm
fucking
watching Night Teeth on Netflix. I'm about
playing
to
your RPGs
Hey, listen,
and your bullshit.
I'm about to cancel my Netflix subscription and promote my HBO Max.
Look, Boardwalk, dude, is very.
I know it is.
You might. If by the time you get to the end of it, you come in here and you say, Boardwalk Empire, the best fucking thing that's ever been made, I won't be shocked. That's how good it is. Yeah.
Well,
Very
I'll
good.
tell you this. I'll say this. We're in this show this way. My wife is when she watches stuff, she's very one-dimensional. So she wants Hulu. She wants Real Wives, Real Housewives. She wants all this stuff. I have introduced her to HBO Max, and she hasn't been off it. She's actually watching. She watched True Blood. She's watching the more in-depth kind of things going on. That's how good HBO is doing. I mean, really, that's how good HBO Max is doing. She will never watch Warrior, but I mean, some of the content, like Curb Your Enthusiasm, like.
Oh, the new
I'm serious. Like, if
Jesus.
somebody put a gun to my head and said, choose Netflix and HBO Max.
HBO Max.
If somebody said, put a gun to my head and said, choose one streaming service, I would say HBO Max, done. And I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would be close.
I agree.
I'm a big prom guy, man. I love those deep
like the old
cuts,
stuff.
man.
Yeah.
I like being able to find those
That's a good
deep
point.
cuts
That's a good.
Yes.
and those old. But I will say this, dude. If you get into HBO's that library, I mean, dude, there is a fucking ton of shit
Oh,
there.
dude, I'm telling you, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
and a lot of old stuff
Crazy.
and new stuff. So
One
I
Wolf
see.
and Cub is on HBO Max.
Yeah,
Like,
Oh, yeah.
all their series, all of them, like fucking Oz, like the shit that we
Oz,
grew
The
up on.
Wire, like all these
Oh, dude,
shows that
it's
are iconic.
Incredible, man. Tons of hours of
Talking about, okay, speaking of incredible, all right. What are we doing next? I want you to announce what we're doing next, because this next episode is going to be, I think it's going to be an all-time great one. I really do. If it's not, it's because we fucked up.
Right.
I think we should all do about a teener of Coke before we come in and do it.
Great. Sounds awesome. 1993, come get Garrick, please. Jesus Christ.
We are
He's
doing...
trying to get back to that Desperado day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
baby.
and hey man, whatever, dude. That was a good story, man. Fuck you.
That was a good story.
Hey,
That would be your Groundhog Day. Like if you had a day to live over and over again, it would be that one.
That one was
Pretty
a pretty
good
good
fucking day,
It
yeah.
was a pretty good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scarface, Brian De Palma,
Absolutely.
Al Pacino. This
What? Who?
Al Pacino.
Al
This
Pacino?
will be. Listen, this one's. You guys better bring your shit, because this one's going to be. We are deep diving into Scarface, Brian De Palma, Carlitos Way. We should all watch that one too.
This is a
huge.
classic that
Huge
we have talked
podcast.
about a lot of times, and doing 80s gangster, it just felt like let's end it
Let's do it.
with something that everybody can relate to. Everybody has probably seen this at least one time in their life. I've probably seen it.
Everybody that listens to this podcast has probably watched it 17 fucking.
It's probably on everybody's shelf, in some
Oh,
form
yeah.
or the
I
other.
still wish I had that water fountain in my house.
I know. But I'm hyped for it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I
And,
got octopus coming out my fucking ears.
well,
I'm ready.
unfortunately, by the rate that we've been producing these fucking things, it might not be till 2022 when we actually get
No,
to the
I'm
fucking
free
thing.
next week, dude.
But I'm hoping beyond hope that we can actually get
We'll
it
do
done
We'll do it next week.
quickly.
Hey, listen. I will post. Look, I will put this one out tomorrow, and we will do this next week.
And
Can we do it on a Monday?
Yeah, sure.
let's do it. Yeah, let's do it Monday.
And just throwing it out there, I have seen No Time to Die, the James Bond movie that we've been talking about for almost 2 fucking years,
Yep.
waiting to do the big Bond blowout episode.
I am too.
Garrick has also seen it. We are waiting on Lee, and that will be something that will be down the pipe shortly.
Very
Well,
short.
listen. When I pay $20 to see this movie, I better be walking out of a Best Buy with a fucking Blu-ray. I
Yeah.
ain't paying $20 for a 48-hour rental.
Yeah.
I don't know why Garrick did, because he's got more kids than a fucking Mormon. But,
Hey, by the way, my friend,
yes.
Merry Christmas. I am sending you a tub. Listen, I'm going to take a picture. I've got 3 tubs of DVDs. You still like these, right?
Right.
I'm going to take a picture of them. I'm going
Okay.
to send you over 100 DVDs for your collection.
Okay.
My wife has kicked them out of our house. She says that I'll never watch them.
Can I get dibs on any of these?
Yes.
Can I
actually,
my finger fucking steal these out from under Lee before he
hold
gets
on
them?
1 second. Hold on. This will be fun.
Well, don't take them all, Doug.
All right, so I've got a huge tub. Can you see that? Oh, he doesn't have video, does he?
I'm on video.
Yeah, he's with us.
He can see us?
Yeah.
I can't see you, but I think you
Here,
can
take
see
the
me.
video.
Right?
Lee, you right here on top is. I'm going to sign this for you. It's a copy of Terrifier. I know how much you love this. I'm going to autograph that one for you.
Yeah.
That one's definitely going to. You're definitely getting that one.
Okay.
All right. That's great.
I'll tell you.
I'm gonna have to take pictures of this. We're not gonna do this on the podcast, but there's. I mean, I've got.
everything in here
Basically,
from-
we don't have any room at the house, and I don't.
Okay.
The spot will only give me 50 cents per DVD. So I'd rather, if I'm
Right.
gonna have to pass these down, I'd rather pass them to somebody that would enjoy them.
I appreciate it.
I mean, I've got. There's a lot of really good ones in here, man.
Did you?
Like,
I mean,
like
did
Fear of Loathing Criterion.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, just for collectors' purposes, that's great.
Yeah.
One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Very nice.
See, there's lots of stuff. You want to get some? Come on, take them
Oh,
home.
I'm definitely going to get some, but.
Oh, get in there, Doug.
Jackie Brown.
That's nice. That's awesome.
But the thing is that I don't want to send you a bunch of DVDs that you already have.
Right. I mean,
Dazed and Confused Criterion.
that's awesome.
You can't have that one.
Just send whatever, man.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna send you a box.
Okay, I appreciate it. That's awesome. I hate that you're getting rid of them, but I'll definitely. They will not be. They
We
will
just
not
don't.
go waste.
We don't have room, and it's just one of those things. Oh look, Desperado.
I recognize that tag. That is a used tag from Blockbuster.
That's
Bought
all.
in fucking 1997.
That's it.
100%.
All right. Well, anyway, we can keep going and keep going, but we're not going to do that. We'll see you guys next week with Scarface.
There we go.
Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you next time.